Hello. Hi there, good morning. My name is Carolina, and I just got back from a week in St. Thomas. I'm feeling so grateful and so lucky to have been able to travel there right now. My husband and I were actually meant to be in Europe these last 2 weeks, and of course, all of that was canceled. We were supposed to go to a family wedding in Poland and also go to Italy and Croatia. So that was not happening. But my husband had a new job coming up, so we had 1 week literally to work with to just go somewhere. And so we celebrated also our wedding anniversary in St. Thomas, so that was incredible, and it felt so good to get away for a little bit and come back now and just, feeling super rejuvenated. And I know that traveling is especially hard right now, but, I've been hearing from you that, you continue to go on road trips right now or maybe visiting family somewhere. So it's still something, to consider. And I've actually got a really good question for today's live session, which is like when you're out, how do you order mocktails? Like, what do you order? How do you order it? Like, if there's sometimes you don't want to bring too much attention to yourself. Like, how do you go about just getting a really fancy, nice drink that doesn't have alcohol in it in a place that, is like a bar or a restaurant? And it's such a good question because, so much of our bars and restaurants are completely catered around alcoholic drinks. And it's like, completely misses the mark about, well, what if someone doesn't want alcohol? And so I want to give you the best tips that I can today on how to feel confident when you're out at a bar or restaurant. And, I don't know your situation about what's going on in your state, whether they're even open or not. Here in San Diego County, we can go to restaurants, but you have to sit outside, for example. But even if restaurants aren't open right now, these are really good tips for you for any time that they do eventually open in the future, because I know how feeling like you're tongue tied or not sure what to say when you're out and you're first trying to like not drink can feel a little awkward. And I just want you to have the best tips that you possibly can have on literally what to order, how to go about ordering a mocktail or a non-alcoholic drink when you're out or traveling, so that you feel confident and you can just slay and just like get the fancy drink and enjoy yourself and feel just alive and not have to deal with all the burdens of drinking alcohol with the tiredness. Like, you literally can have the life you want. You literally can be sitting out there on the patio with everyone enjoying the sunset and have a beautiful drink, and it doesn't have to give you a hangover the next day. Like, what a concept, what a beautiful concept. So thank you so much to joining today. Hi, Paula. It's so great to see you. Hey, Cooper. Hey, Pam. I'm so happy you're all here. And let's go into those tips. So these apply both like in your local area and also when you're traveling. I'm going to give you some ideas depending on what continent you're visiting about how to just go about ordering different drinks. So first of all is literally like the virgin route. So the virgin route is basically like if you go to a bar or restaurant, you can actually look at all of the cocktails that they have. If it's like a crafty kind of a place, they'll usually have a list of cocktails. And if this is what you want to do, I'm not saying it's for everyone, but if this is what you want to do, you can always look and see what cocktails they have that are made with like just literally one alcohol. So if you see a cocktail that's made with like 5 alcohols and one mixer, it's not going to work. But if you see something that has like a guava passion fruit puree and sparkling water and pineapple shrubs and one alcohol, like literally you can ask for that as a virgin version of that. You can ask the waitress or the waiter or the bartender if they can make that virgin for you. There should be no reason why they can't. Also, there's a ton of other kind of virgin drinks that are super popular already. Like a mojito is so easy to make a virgin, as are like, a cranberry soda with lime is so easy to make virgin. And so you can really just like, if you're interested in looking to see what crafty cocktails they already have, you can literally ask for them to be made virgin. You can also go a step further and ask them what mocktails the bartender can make for you, So a lot of restaurants are expanding their offerings and understanding that people are changing and that they don't always want to drink, and they hopefully have some kind of things that you can order. And literally if you find yourself in a place where you want to just ask the bartender or the wait staff like what they could make for you, that could always be like a fun route. With that, you can also have the option of like having a tried and true. Like sometimes you don't want to go ask, sometimes you're with a group of 10 people and you're like, I just want to order something. I don't want to ask questions right now. I don't want to bring all this attention to me. And so this is where like you need to find something that you love to drink. So, and understanding like most places have it. So for example, like a club soda with bitters, it's so easy. Every bar or restaurant has those ingredients and can make that for you. I like club soda with a splash of cranberry or a splash of grapefruit juice or like a ginger beer with lime. Like a lot of these things could be like a tried and true drink that most bar and restaurants would have the ingredients for and are super easy. Maybe you love, I don't know, like you just get to discover like what a tried and true is for you that like works at most places. And then also be like cognizant to look in their non-alcoholic section. Like obviously they have other drinks other than just alcohol, and maybe they'll have a list of juices and a list of sodas. And I know nobody wants to feel like a child and order like an apple juice, but you can get super creative. You can see like, okay, maybe they have like orange and passion fruit and like pineapple juice, whatever it is, and ask them, can I have, sparkling water with pineapple juice, please? And they'll probably make it really nice for you, and they'll add like a little mint and they'll add a little herb for you, like whatever it is. So look at the non-alcoholic section, like even if it's juices, and again, I know you don't want to order apple juice and feel like a kid, but like you can get crafty on what combinations you can mix that with, right? And have a lot of fun with that. So I was recently in the Caribbean and I saw that they had tons of juices and they were mixing them and like making all of these nice things, and you don't have to have that with the alcohol to have like a nice fun drink with that. Also, I want to give you this tip is like literally you don't have to always go to the places that don't cater to people who don't drink. So if it's up to you, if you're going out to dinner with your husband or your wife or something like that, like why not already look into Yelp and search the word mocktails and find a place that has a great mocktail menu. This is 2020 and so many places in big cities now are offering like complete mocktail menus where they have at least 3 to maybe 5 different mocktails that they make and are super fun and are super interesting to try. Same goes with non-alcoholic beer if you're interested in that. Like if you want that while you're eating dinner or while you're out, like scope out the places that have them and actually choose to go there. So for example, I know off the top of my head, like maybe 10 restaurants in San Diego that have incredible mocktail menus. And then I know of places that I've been to that have like nothing other than water, and soda. And so like it's up to you to like really scout out those places and find the places that like really cater to non-drinkers, and you can order a mocktail and enjoy yourself and have a beautiful fancy drink and not feel like the odd one out. Now when it comes to traveling, so I have traveled quite profusely since I've given up alcohol and ditched the booze, and I have found that many different continents cater in different ways to different non-alcoholic drinks. So I'll start probably with the easiest place you can find literally anything you want to drink is in Europe. So most places in Europe have very strict drinking and driving laws. Most places in Europe do not have the same kind of crazy party lifestyle the same way that like some places in America do. And I have been always pleasantly surprised almost everywhere I've been in Europe that there are options galore. So for example, like non-alcoholic beer is everywhere in Europe, everywhere. Almost every single beer company in Europe also makes a non-alcoholic version of their beer, and they sell them in the stores and they sell them at the bars and restaurants. It's literally everywhere. It's totally normal. And in fact, a lot of drinkers drink non-alcoholic drinks like beers even because, sometimes you don't want to have that many, or sometimes you have to drive, or like in Germany, for example, they love beer so much. It doesn't matter whether it has alcohol in it or not. There's still like an art and a craft to it. So there's so many different options in Europe. Also, like I have seen in Europe so many different places that have just as big of like mocktail or spritz or like fancy Italian soda kind of drinks. Like there's so many different options. I actually remember I went to a bar in Poland and it was kind of like a drinking hole kind of a bar, and I didn't see any mocktails, and I was like, oh, that kind of sucks, like, oh, whatever. And so I saw like a cocktail and I asked them if they could make it virgin, and the guy was kind of confused and like, lady, I don't know. And I got really mad. I was like, what the hell? Like, yes, you can make this virgin, like, come on, you have to cater to me, like you don't even have any mocktails on the menu. And then, like, of course, he did it and I got it. And afterwards, I looked at the menu again and I completely missed like 3 pages on the menu that were just devoted to mocktails. I felt so embarrassed. Like, no wonder he thought I was a weirdo. It's not that I was weird for asking for a mocktail, it's because I literally missed all the options that they had and I was demanding that he made like a completely different drink. It was so funny to me. But it goes to show that, like, literally in Europe, and I've been to a few countries in Europe, like, there's so many options. It's such a like non-issue to get a non-alcoholic drink there. I've been pleasantly surprised also, like in Asia, in like Japan, there's so many different non-alcoholic beers everywhere, and even in like other places in Asia, while I haven't been recently, there's so many like kooky drinks, like kooky crazy aloe like vera juice, or like whatever it is, coconut water, like all these different things that you can drink and try while you're out. Like, make it fun for you to go explore new drinks. One of the things I love to do when I travel is literally just go to the grocery or convenience stores and see like what kind of non-alcoholic drinks they have. Whether it's like non-alcoholic beer or literally like soft drinks, like crazy juices that I've never heard of, crazy like carbonated beverages that I've never heard of. Who knows like what it is. It's like every country has something different that's like normal for them to have as a soft beverage, and it's fun to explore that. So in the Caribbean, I found a lot of ginger beer, right? But then I found all these drinks that are made with like ginseng and ginger, or ginseng and banana, or ginseng and coconut. It was like a very, like staple kind of thing that they drank, and I had never seen it here. And it was fun to just like try that, try all the different like things I saw in the store. So I love doing that. Like, let yourself be creative and have fun when you're traveling to find the new things. One of the places I found was maybe the harder in finding non-alcoholic drinks is Latin America. Like, drinking is still very heavy culture there, and like there is no non-alcoholic beer I've ever seen in Latin America. However, they do have other soft drinks. So like in Mexico and a lot of places in Latin America, like agua frescas are huge, right? And so ordering an agua fresca is something that I usually lean towards when I'm in Latin America. Or like other kind of just soft beverages. So why they might not have like mocktails per se, like they do have other soft beverages that you can explore. I love like a hibiscus drink when I'm there. Like yesterday I just had a cantaloupe drink from a Mexican establishment. Like, you never know. You could just have fun and explore. And then lastly, in the Caribbean, I was just there. I love ginger beer. I think it's like a really fun, like it wakes you up. It has that punch. It's like spicy, and so ginger beer is literally, I think, invented in the Caribbean. It was everywhere, and so many places had virgin drinks. So did I try the virgin pina colada? Of course. Did I try the virgin punch? Yes, that was really fun. So you just have to like look and scope it out, and people can cater to you. And honestly, I want to tell you that it's literally your prerogative to order a mocktail or non-alcoholic drink when you're out. It is your prerogative. Like, think about it. It is 2020 right now, and you will go to places and you'll see these crazy menus with like codes on them these days, right? You see the menu with the code on it. Okay, that's vegetarian, that's vegan, that's gluten-free, that's sugar-free, right? Like, crazy different dietary needs that people have all around, in so many different restaurants to cater to them. Do you really think that it doesn't like serve the world to also cater to non-drinkers? That it's somehow asking too much or embarrassing to order like a non-alcoholic drink? It is your prerogative in 2020 to decide what you ingest, whether that's containing alcohol or not. Like, you get to decide what enters your body, right? And so if you're vegan or vegetarian, like, there's people make no qualms about that. And even if they go to a restaurant that doesn't really cater to that, they will ask like how they can be accommodated, right? Like, people aren't embarrassed about that. And you have every right to like get your beautiful mocktail, your beautiful non-alcoholic drink when you're out dining. Like, alcohol, compared to a lot of those things that people avoid in different dietary needs, is actually probably the most poisonous and the most toxic. And you are actually changing the culture when you do so. And so I know on the outset, when you're in the first few weeks, maybe months, ditching booze, it can feel embarrassing, kind of like drawing attention to yourself. Like, oh my gosh, are they going to ask about my drink? Are they going to see my order? You know what I mean? But I just want you to completely flip this on its head. Because listen to the story that's coming out with this like thought and this belief system. I have to drink or else people will think I'm weird or had a problem, right? That's the norm. That's the story that's going on in your head. And with that, what you're doing is literally propagating the cultural norm that you have to drink to be normal. Now, if you have kids or you just think of the future generation, can you imagine that they have to also grow up with that world? That you are propagating the culture that you have to drink, that you literally are not allowed to go out socially without an alcoholic beverage, that you have to damage your health, have to press pause on your life goals, have to wake up hungover, have to wake up with all this nasty ass effects in order to fit in. Do you want your kids to grow up in that kind of world? So when you are out and you are choosing to have a non-alcoholic beverage or mocktail, like, be proud of it. Be super proud of it. You are changing the cultural norm around you, and you are making it okay for the future generation to literally be able to choose, so that it's not the norm anymore that you have to drink to be normal, but they get to choose whether they imbibe or not. Right? They have a choice. It doesn't mean anything about them. It doesn't mean this story. I mean, so often people are so scared to order something non-alcoholic or have something non-alcoholic because they're scared that someone will ask them questions. Oh, what happened? Did you have a problem? Like, why do we have to live in a society where when you don't drink, you get drilled? Like, that is crazy to me. And you are part of a movement that is changing that culture. You are changing the cultural norms. You're making it okay to not ingest a poison just to socialize. Like, literally stand up to that. You know, when I was going on my journey, by the time I was at like 3-4 months, I would literally have a non-alcoholic beer or a mocktail, and I wouldn't just like hide it and just like try to fit in. I was actually like, hey, ask me about this. I want you to ask me about this so you know I'm drinking a mocktail or a non-alcoholic drink, and not to be like flashy or to try to like judge people who are drinking. I was just trying to show like there is another way, you guys. Like, you don't have to go out to the birthday party and always order a non-alcoholic drink or alcoholic drink. And you know why? Because I used to believe that. I was so long that I literally like would want to take a break from alcohol, and then I was like, but I have that birthday party. I have that birthday party to go to. What is everyone gonna think? And so I ended up drinking. And literally, had I just met 1 or 2 people at that birthday party who were not drinking and were proud of it and were showing off their other drinks, I would have like, my brain would have like cracked open. I would have been like, oh, really? Like, I do not have to drink to socialize. It's a story that is not serving me. It is a story that's completely disempowering me. And if I saw other role models around me showing a new narrative, changing the culture, defining a new norm, I would have been so much more curious and empowered to do that myself, to feel like, okay, maybe this is a cage I'm just constructing around my life. Maybe I don't have to drink when I'm out socializing. Maybe it doesn't have to come with this huge story. Maybe it doesn't mean anything about me. Maybe I can just choose based on what makes me feel good and what makes me actually feel aligned with my values and my health and my purpose and my passion. Can you imagine? And so when you're out, like, let yourself feel proud about ordering the non-alcoholic beverage or mocktail or anything that's not alcoholic. Let yourself feel proud of that. And maybe it's going to take time for you to get there, but let yourself really imagine that you are a leader. You are a leader that is defining a new cultural norm. Drinking has gone up between like the era of 2000 to 2020 in drastic ways, and it's kind of slowly in the last few years like dipping down a little, but now I think the pandemic has gotten it back up again. And the reason for that is because like drinking wasn't used to be such a big cultural norm in the 80s and 90s. Like, we didn't have breweries on every corner where there wasn't mommy juice. Like, the culture swayed to the other way like crazy. And you are now a leader in a movement that says it's okay to not ingest poison to socialize. I can choose a different way. I can choose what works for me and my lifestyle and like actually makes me feel alive. I can choose something that like gives hope to future people and the other generations. Like, what a sad, sick world. Like, do we really want to raise children in where they believe that they have to drink to be normal? I know I certainly don't want that for my children. And I'm sure if you really thought about it, like, you wouldn't want it for yours or the future generation either. So let yourself be proud of the choice you make when you order a mocktail or non-alcoholic beverage, because you are literally, without saying anything, without standing on a pulpit, you are changing the cultural norm, and you are a sober rebel for doing that. And you guys, I have to just say like another word about the hospitality industry. It's 2020, right? We've got gluten-free, we've got vegan, we've got vegetarian, sugar-free. There's all these ways that the hospitality industry caters to what people want. And there's no way that bars and restaurant and booze culture will change if we don't demand it. If we don't go to the bars and restaurants and demand mocktails and demand non-alcoholic drinks and demand all these other soft options, they won't change, right? So instead of thinking it as like, oh my gosh, it's just so like wrapped around booze and there's nowhere to go for me and I can't like, it sucks, like be the change you wish to see in the world. And it sounds crazy to think that like just ordering a drink is that change, or talking to the bartender or talking to the, wait staff is making that change, but it is, because you're the customer and you're demanding or asking for something different, something that they haven't thought to offer yet. And you're gonna ask for it, and I'm gonna ask for it, and over here our sober friend's gonna ask for it, and over here our alcohol-free friend is gonna ask for it, and over there the marathon runner's gonna ask for it, and we are gonna create a movement where the hospitality industry will literally change to cater to non-drinkers. And what a proud movement to be part of, because don't you want more options? Options means a safer society. Options mean that the norm, the cultural norm, will not be you have to drink to fit in. Options mean that like the story we tell ourselves that only people with huge problems quit and it has this huge meaning around it, like all of that will just go away and we can live freely and we can drink what we choose to and we can become happy and healthy and fulfilled with it. Like options literally mean more inclusivity. Options mean rewriting that story that I had in my head that I had to drink to socialize, that literally socializing had to come with a side of hangovers. Like who said, what kind of world do we live in where that's the story, that's the cultural norm? And how proud of yourself could you be to stand up to that? To stand up to conventions and say, I'm going to be an independent thinker. I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to show the future generations that there's a better way. I'm going to show the hospitality industry that we want something different. And just type in the word like non-alcoholic beverage or mocktails onto Google. There's like 15 companies every single month sprouting up. There's articles in food magazines. There's articles in different actual like lifestyle magazines about this movement. They're talking about it. They're talking about that people want options and that companies are sprouting up all the time to serve those people. Go to your like next health food store, go to like even a Bevmo and check out how many drinks are there that didn't exist 5 years ago, because more people are asking and demanding for options, and people want to serve that, and people want to give inclusivity, and people want to build another future where drinking isn't the norm and something that we're all pushed into no matter what as teenagers. Be part of that movement and be proud of it. So if you have any further questions on literally like how to order something at a bar or restaurant, please do ask. I hope those tips were helpful about, having your tried and true drink, going the virgin route, scoping out the non-alcoholic juice and soda section and getting creative with the combos you can make there. Or also like go to a place that actually has mocktails, like, especially if you live in a bigger city, like you will find so many restaurants that cater to that right now. And also with traveling, there's some tips that I gave there depending on kind of what continent you're on. And also when traveling, especially because a lot of the travel right now is like road trips, bring your own drinks. Bring your own drinks. Bring your favorite drinks. My friend, we just traveled to St. Thomas, and she actually brought Kin Spirits. She brought Athletic Brewing Company, non-alcoholic beers. She brought tonic waters. She just brought her own stuff. Like, why not? You get to decide what you put into your body. You get to like decide to make it a fancy premium drink. You get to treat yourself. You get to have literally everything and more without the side of hangovers. So go for it. Remember that you're changing cultural norms every single time that you stand up and ask for the mocktail and the non-alcoholic drink. And don't be afraid to ask the waitstaff or the bartender to make you something, or to ask what they have that doesn't have alcohol in it. Like, the idea that a bar or restaurant doesn't have something for you to drink that's not just tap water is crazy, because like, what does that say? Do they even care about pregnant women? Do they care about drunk driving? Like, that's wrong, and we need to change the culture. So be part of the movement. Be proud of what you order. Remember that you think that people around you are thinking, oh, what's wrong with her? Why isn't she drinking? Does she have a problem? When in reality, they could be asking something very entirely different. Oh, she's not ordering a drink. I wonder why I always think I had to order a drink. maybe I don't always have to order a drink when I'm out. Maybe I can actually listen to that intuition that's telling me I don't feel good when I order wine on a Wednesday and have to go to work the next day. Maybe you could be the inspiration that you didn't even know you could be for someone around you. Tap into that pride. Tap into that independent thinking. Tap into that counterculture, and that you can change the norms. So thank you so much for joining. It was such a pleasure to have you. Be sure to tune in next week, 8 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday. And if you have any questions that you'd like answered, just shoot me an email or a DM and I'd be happy to answer them.